is Sreeja. I'm the founder of Open Your Mind. At Open Your Mind, we design and deliver programs for kids, primarily pre-teen kids, kids of the age group 9 years to 13 years, exposing them to content and activities that will help open their mind. So before starting my entrepreneurial journey, I was in a corporate job for more than 2 decades. And while in my corporate job, what I realized is that to do well in the job, what we learned in school and college, your knowledge on the engineering subjects, that is not quite enough. You need a lot of other skills to do well in life, to do well in your job. And the reality is that maybe our schools and colleges are not really equipping our children to on those aspects, right? It was very visible that people with better exposure, having original thoughts, able to express their thoughts clearly, articulation skills, the courage to speak up, what we call as creative confidence, people with these skills, okay, they were doing better in the job. Their career was moving faster than some of us. So that made me think, where is the gap? See, I studied in a government school, and I thought, okay, maybe that is the reason. We, some of us coming from that traditional schools, will have to learn it on the go. But in general, what I have noticed is that in Indian education system, people who have gone through the traditional Indian education system have these struggles more or less. And what was even more fascinating was that as a parent, right now, my son is 13 years old and he goes to one of the good schools. But there also, what I'm realizing, whether it is my son or his friends, the children of this generation going to good schools, the CBSE, ICSE schools, private schools, there also the focus is pretty much exams, grades, the focus on science and maths, STEM subjects, right? Science, technology, maths. That has not changed much, right? The as against the skills that are needed, especially in today's times where Chat GPT and the AI is taking over the world, and we do not know which are the career that these kids are going to take, or what are they going to work on, right? Nobody is clear. In such a world, some of these other soft skills and thinking skills, these becomes even more important. And what I noticed is that our schools and the traditional education system is still not focusing on some of those aspects, right? And especially, we feel this especially when we deal with our international clients, right? Many times I wondered, how come they are able to articulate their thoughts so beautifully, and even the originality of thoughts. See, we say India is the land of jugaad, right? Where we are very creative, innovative that way. But the fact of the matter is, jugaad comes from a need, rather than because we don't have something, we try to come up with innovative ways, right? Now that is different than innovation in its true sense, where we are not afraid of failures, and we are allowed to fail, and we are allowed to innovate. Because one of the main feedback which we used to get in our client surveys and all that year on year was that very process oriented people, we are very good at execution of our work. However, when it comes to innovation and when it comes to speaking up, the courage to speak up, these are the two areas where we lack. Now, this has been a constant feedback. Even now, many of the corporate leaders talk about these things, and that is where the conflict comes. How come the land of Jugaad is getting such feedback? And when I think about it, I feel it is this, the Jugaad, as I said, comes because out of need. It's the resourcefulness part that is working there. However, innovation truly is about identifying the right problems and coming up with solutions. And for that, you really need to be allowed to fail, and you really need, help with your thinking skills. So the idea of open your mind came from some of these thoughts, to a strong need to fill the gap that I was seeing between the current academic curriculum versus the need of the industry or corporates. From that thought, the idea of Open Your Mind was born, and then we started designing and developing these programs for kids. So there, our focus is primarily to encourage the children to think. Okay, see, the thing is, thinking, like any other skills, needs nurturing. Okay, see, in India, like whether it is football, guitar, um, music, dance, children go for classes, right? But when it comes to some of these skills, like thinking, I mean, it is one of the aspects of intelligence, right? Um, it's not just how you are able to solve your maths problem or physics problem. That's not only intelligence. Your ability to see another person's point of view, your ability to put yourself in another person's shoes, right? Your listening skills, all that comes under this broader category of thinking skills. Creative thinking, critical thinking, all that comes under the larger umbrella of thinking skills, and this also needs to be nurtured, right? And from that thought, most of our programs, or rather all of our programs, focus on that aspects where children get to think, reflect on topics, and after that they will have to express their thoughts also. So that there comes the articulation aspect.